our city about us cases.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First request is a conditional use permit request by Marian and Leonard for property located at 112 West Moore Street. And we recognize this as a zoning change property we had a few months ago, where the property was rezoned from DR10 to RP. As you may recall from that rezoning hearing, the purpose of that rezoning was to make it eligible for an art studio in RP, and here we are. So now they're coming forward with the conditional use request for the art studio. Nothing has changed with the property since. It is still a transitional neighborhood character area. The zoning you see is mixed along the road. You might remember this was a case of the zoning pattern along Westmore Street did not match the land use pattern along Westmore. Many of the properties along the street have converted to professional office already. Some of them from many, many years ago when DR10 allowed professional offices. But more significantly, most of the properties along the south side of the street are owned by VSU, used for various office purposes related to the university, and they are exempt from land use regulations or zoning. So regardless of how the property is owned, if it's owned by VSU, then they can do what they want. So many of those properties along the south side, even though they be zoned DR10, they are university offices. Aerial imagery, this is of course before the hurricanes. The canopy looks a little bit different now, but generally was urban forest. Through many, was characteristic of many of our older neighborhoods. In your packet is a copy of the land use survey. Here's the septic property. Two-story historic house. It is in the local historic district. It's also in the Brookwood North National Register District. Views up and down the road. This is looking eastward toward Patterson. On the right, you see some of the former homes that have been converted to offices by VSU, such as the ones that are diagonally across the street. Westward view back toward Oak Street, mainly VSU properties on the left. Immediately to the right is this property, which was a converted residence to a medical office. Note the parking lot in the front and the back. And then on westward is a mixture of houses and offices. In your packet is a site sketch that's revised slightly from what you saw at rezoning. The applicant is proposing to cohabitate the art studio in the main building of the house with a residential unit in the upstairs where they would share the premises. Currently a family member resides in the upstairs. Their focus is to use the paid parking in the front yard for art studio patrons, and then it's unpaid parking in the back that would be used by the family members. In your packet is a listing of the conditional use review criteria. Note that these are different than the rezoning criteria that we looked at a few months ago. Staff in general, as part of all of the discussion a few months ago and today, finding it consistent with the comprehensive plan, the conditional use review criteria, and recommending approval subject to 3 conditions. The first one is conditional use approval shall be granted in the name of the applicant only as owner or proprietor for an art studio at RP zoning in conjunction with the single-family residence on the same premises. Number 2, there shall be no on-street parking, and all parking in the front yard shall only be on paved surfaces as approved by the city engineer and the Historic Preservation Commission. And lastly, the expiration date is conditional use approval shall expire 2 years from the date of approval if no business license has been issued to the art studio by that date. You notice many of the conditions are related to parking and use of the property, keeping in mind that RP zoning allows things a lot more intensive than an art studio. However, the historic nature of the house as a historic residence does limit that. The oversight of the Historic Preservation Commission helps protect that. And with the conditions, it allows the art studio to cohabitate in the property with the residence that's already there. Glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for staff? There being none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this case?
Yes, my name's John Leonard. I live at 2610 Winding Way, and we own the property at 112 West Moore Street. And with your permission, I apologize, I don't have enough of these to show everybody, but I can pass these out to you. It's just a mock-up of the sign that we wanna put out front. Hold on, pass those around. As, Mr. Martin said, our granddaughter lives upstairs. We are currently using the property as an art studio, but it has no traffic, and it will still have no traffic. As the sign says, these are by appointment only. People will have to call and make an appointment to come and visit the studio. So, you have any questions for me?
Any questions for?
I was by your place there the other day, and, that's my concern about parking. The paved, where you say you're gonna park, is a driveway, a horseshoe style.
Yes, sir.
So, if the traffic is gonna flow in and out, where are you gonna park? You can't park on the grass, I believe that's what it's gonna, on the paved surfaces.
Correct.
You said appointment only, so we're gonna do one appointment at a time?
When I say appointments, these are very rare situations. I mean, it's they create art there. They paint, they make pottery, that sort of thing. And so when people come to the house to have artwork done, it would be like a mother bringing her child to have a handprint made in a ceramic plate, and then they, turn it into ceramics after that. So when they come in, there's a straight driveway. If you look there to the left, it's straight and it goes back to the back of the property. And then it also curves at the same time. It comes around to the right side where that garage or covered part is. And you could park 3 or 4 cars in that space, but there would never be more than one car. I mean, we're not talking about people, 2 or 3 people per day. We're talking about maybe 1 or 2 people per week.
But the back is supposed to be maintained for the resident, correct?
The back is maintained for the resident and the employees of the art studio that park there.
You can only get 2 or 3 at the most.
But that's all that's working.
I think you talked a lot about, the parking inside of your letter of intent. Not to cut you off, but you did say the residents would use the front parking only at night and on the weekends. You did kind of give a clear, I can understand what you're saying about parking in the daytime appointments only. And you did say that at night they would only park in the front. So he did kind of give a clear description a little bit in the letter of intent when it came to parking.
I mean, we can get 3 or 4 employee cars at one time easily behind the main house.
In the back, 5.
There's a large space between the house and the garage apartment building. And then there, like I said, there's space for at least 3 or 4 cars, but there'd never be more than one at a time parked in front.
I just had some concerns because you can't park on the street there.
I understand completely, and there will never be cars parked on the street.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
answered my question.
Thanks, sir. All right, the time for the 4 has passed. Is there anyone here that would like to speak against this project? There being no one, any further discussion or questions for staff? All right, I will entertain a motion for 2025-01.
Mr. Chairman, regarding CU-2025-01, a request for conditional use permit in RP zoning. I make a motion that we approve this with the 3 conditions put on by staff.
We have a second from Commissioner Bailey. Any discussion?